Good morning. We're going to read a new article called Philly to Dim Lights to Make It Safer for Birds in Flight. And let's get to reading. This caption says, to help migrating birds avoid skyscrapers, many buildings in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania are trying to dim their lights at night during the spring and fall. Twice a year, millions of birds fly through Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Many become confused by the city lights. This causes them to slam into skyscrapers or crash to the sidewalk. To prevent this, a group of experts called Bird Safe Philly is starting a new campaign. They are asking businesses in the city to dim their lights in the coming weeks. The initiative's name is Lights Out Philly. It is a voluntary program. In this voluntary program, many buildings turn off or dim their lights at night during the spring and fall. These are migration seasons for birds. Migration is the movement of a group of animals from one place to another that happens at regular periods throughout the year. Flight patterns is our next section. Birds navigate during migration using the sun and stars as guides, but the birds cannot see stars on a cloudy night. They get confused by the bright city lights. Windows are also dangerous because the birds might see a reflection of trees or skies in them. The problem of city lights attracting birds to their death is not new. Josh Wittgenstein works at Drexel University's Academy of Natural Sciences. He is a curator of ornithology, or the scientific study of birds. There are bird specimens that collided with buildings in 1896. That's the year that the lights were first installed on Philadelphia's City Hall Tower. So they've got evidence that this problem was a problem when the first skyscraper got lights. So partnering to protect the birds. The Bird Safe Philly formed last October. On a single day that month, more than 1,000 migrating birds collided with buildings in downtown Philadelphia. It was the city's largest mass collision event in 70 years. The partnership includes several scientific groups. Collisions with buildings kill between 365 million and 1 billion birds in the U.S. every year. These crashes are taking a toll on some species. A species is a group of similar living things that can make offspring. Common yellow-throats and white-throat sparrows are the most common victims of collisions with buildings in Philadelphia. Those species are also threatened by predators and climate change. Climate change is the significant change in weather and temperature on Earth. This change happens over a long period of time. Hundreds of bird species are at an increased risk of extinction because of climate change. Extinction is the permanent loss of a species. Now, these species are also facing the threat of building collisions. Helping in other ways. The Lights Out Philly program runs from April 1st to May 31st and from mid-August to mid-November. In addition to helping birds, it also helps reduce the use of electricity, which can save money and help protect the environment. Nearly 20 buildings in downtown Philadelphia have already pledged to dim their lights. Many of these are very recognizable members of the Philadelphia skyline. There is also a large group who own or manage buildings in the city. There are 475 members, and they are also interested in being part of the initiative. Other Lights Out programs. The National Audubon Society and its partners have established the first Lights Out program in 1999 in Chicago. Since then, 33 other cities have had their own programs. These include New York, Boston, Atlanta, and Washington, D.C. The Bird Safe Philly scientists will watch the birds during their migration through the city, but by doing so, they will try to identify problem areas. They will also track whether their efforts are paying off. With any luck, dimming the lights will help the birds. All right, thank you. And we'll move on to the questions. Thanks.